So when that is extended to people who are, anywhere on the political spectrum or self-declared anywhere on the political spectrum, the principle is the same. Our job as the Daily Wire is not to be Facebook. It is not to be X. It is to be the Daily Wire. And if suddenly all of our hosts tomorrow came out and were like, Kamala Harris is the greatest candidate in the entire world, and would that be serving anybody who subscribed? Would that be serving ourselves? I think not.
Okay, I understand your perspective now. It's like, I'm not here to make money or friends. I'm here to push the narrative that all came together to make sure America sees. And so I'm understanding.
And again, that doesn't mean that somebody can't let somebody else go. Go with God. Go away. Like if you want to pervade that worldview, I'm not calling for you to be silenced. I'm not suggesting that you should be deplatformed. I'm just saying I ain't paying you.
Got it. But big tech companies like Facebook have gotten
That's
involved.
A different thing. That's a different thing.
So let's pivot there, right? And by the way, thank you for having that conversation. I know it's a little uncomfortable for you because there's a lot of things you can't speak about.
Again, in principle, it's really difficult. It's just when personalities get involved, then people start to get very passionate about that for good reason, right?
Okay, I just got nervous because Mike stood up and I was like, all right.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
His bodyguards just got up and I was like, all right, I'm done with that question. I'm just kidding. But let's move on to big tech, because that has been shown that they do get involved, because there is some government people getting involved. There's some money getting involved. Where do you see big tech companies, and should it be, because the internet is brand new compared to the Constitution, right? But again, it's still a business and they have every right, like how you have every right.
Yes.
But where do we get involved to say, hey, if you're going to be openly talking about being a media where everybody has free speech, should there be laws where they can't censor like an Andrew Tate, even though you don't agree with them,
right.
But they don't have the right to do that? Where do you see that going?
So, I think that there is a pretty obvious move, thanks to Elon at X, to open up the Overton window on a lot of these platforms. So you're right, these are private companies. On the other hand, they're all protected by Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. That particular law basically says that if you are a platform with a comment section, then you should not be cultivating editorial content. Right? Once you're a platform, we're going to treat you as a platform, then you should not be essentially a publisher, not us. Right? We're, like YouTube is a place where people post their videos. They can have some rules, but it should be on sort of a value neutral basis. It shouldn't be done where they are cultivating the platform to the extent that it becomes a publisher. Right? In other words, if I were to be the person setting the presets on Facebook, and I was like, anything that does not approve of Donald Trump, delete. Okay, that should be treated the same as Daily Wire, right? I mean, that's it just philosophically, because now I'm doing what Daily Wire does. I'm saying, here's the appropriate material, and I'm cultivating it, and everything else I'm throwing away. And I think that a lot of these places have been hiding behind the immunity of Section 230, which means that they're not culpable for the things they say. And they've been hiding behind that while manipulating the system. Now, if you want, one of the things that
how is that legal, though?
So, again, the way that section, so it's certainly legal for them to decide what they want on the platform. The question is why they have immunity for doing that. So if it's libelous or false on our website, we can be sued. If somebody says something libelous or false on YouTube, YouTube can't really be sued, right? Only the person who put up the video can be sued. And the idea is because it's an open source, right? They're not the one who put it up. Well, what if they start removing things? Once they start removing enough things, then shouldn't they kind of be responsible for what they leave up? Right? That's sort of logic that's been
we forward. Definitely deal with that.
Yes. So there's a big problem for places like YouTube. The answer to that, theoretically, would be some form of neutral policy. And I think all of these platforms have been in search of what looks like neutral policy and sort of failing, because it's very difficult to come up with a neutral speech policy. I mean, other than things like child pornography or active incitement to violence, it's very difficult to come up with that sort of stuff. And then it's also difficult, I understand all the challenges of you want advertisers on your platform. Advertisers may not want to be associated with content that's more evocative or that's more conflagrationist. And so, we want to make it a safe advertising environment. Well, I mean, the truth is that would be up to you. It should be up to the advertiser. The advertiser should say, I only want my stuff on this kind of video. And we move to that model. I think the model.
That's cool. Like, I post a lot of cards. I don't really know anything about the guy, though, so I'm not going to be able to help you with that. Sorry.